So I found this video. It was this person just basically summing up about how their imaginary friend went from when they were 7 years old to really nice and cheerful to throughout the years all the way till they're 14. They just were really they were annoying the person on purpose and just being kind of mean to the person. So I went to the comments just to look at the comments, and I found out a bunch of other people had either stories that are like it or just wanted to share their imaginary friend stories. So I compiled some of my favorites that I found, and I'm going to show you them.
I'm so glad I found people like me, but mine is more different. Let me explain. When I was 6, I start to see some imaginary things at wherever I go. At first they were creepy, but then when I get used to it they came normal, even funny. When I was 7, I start to talk to them. They were so good listeners. When nights I can't sleep they were telling me stories. Then I named them. They were 2 of them. One of them was red and the other one was blue. Blue one was so calm and happy, but the red one was aggressive. But to me it was so funny. I named the blue one Hider and the red one Seek. They don't have eyes, but they are not creepy to me. I love them so much. I'm 11 now. Also now Hider is sleeping. And the Seek is playing with my past toys. You should see them, they look so cute. Well, here is my story. I am 11 and in December I will be 12, but since I was 9. I have an imaginary friend, Luona. She is super sweet and caring but always hides her eyes under a blindfold. She gave me permission to say about the story of her. She has a pair of twins as siblings and she got ABF 1 month ago. Also, she got 2 little cousins. For almost half a year she and the others disappeared. For that time my teacher would tell me. I didn't try to do my homework, to stop lying when I was bored to do the homework even if it wasn't the trut. At home the same, my grandma always cared a lot about my education. So when I was little she used to hit for my bad handwriting and how bad my dictation was. But that was N till I bring her a book. Hands or T for hunting, then she stopped by, she understood how I was feeling. Well, when Lana and the others were gone, when I felt bad. I felt like someone was hugging and saying things to calm me down, like Lana did when she was there. Actually, my first ever imaginary friend was one called Louise, a version of Lana, but younger. I think it was her cousin though. She looks like Louise. Also, my great-grandmother died when I was 4 and the next day Louise appeared. I didn't know yet my great-grandmother was dead. My parents told me 2 weeks later. I remember thinking and telling Louise that my great-grandmother might be visiting our village with my great-grandfather who was there. Well, I hope this story reminds you of some imaginary friend you might have forgotten about. I'ma give you some info on my imaginary friends, kind of. Shadow is my closet friend. I started talking to myself about age 10 and around halfway to my 11th birthday he showed up. He's around 7 feet. He's mostly to all shadow and he wears a black suit. When I'm overwhelmed, sad, or scared he comforts me. He disappeared around a year ago but I still talk to him through my head. Like midnight reading or something, Scar was, I believe, made from my depression or something, 'cause he would put bad ideas into my head. But most of the time Shadow was here to stop me. I still hear Scar sometimes and he terrifies me. I don't see him anymore like Shadow, but I can feel his negative energy. And last but not least is Sarah. She showed up when I was around 7. We would talk at night. She disappeared completely around 2 years after she showed up. I don't know why she did, but one night she just wasn't there. It upset me. But then Shadow showed up and he promised me she was all right and was not home forever. As a person who was caught in the same thing, here is my story. So I was 8 when I started seeing Yuri. So Yuri was the imaginary friend I started to see. When I first saw her, Jay was a little scared, but over 1 month me and Yuri got along. But at the age of 9, Yuri started to get really weird. When I used to go to sleep, Yuri would hide behind the door. I told my dad Yuri is giving me a hard stare. My mom said, "Who is Yuri?" I realized that she was Dot's imaginary friend, and no one else could see her. But then Yuri started to follow me everywhere, even to school. It was getting weird. So after school, I went to Yuri and told her not to follow me, but she did not listen. Then she started annoying me and stared, making me scared. By the age I was 11. Then one day Yuri eventually disappeared. I don't know what happened to her. But that's the whole story. I also have an imaginary friend. His name is Kyle. Before it bothered me, even caused that he will not stop dreaming horrible symbols. But over the years we understood each other. And because it helps me motivate to continue mining forward, sometimes I talk to him through my dreams or in my mind. He is a good person, besides that it takes me 5 years JS. I also have an imaginary friend named Kieran. It's wired BC. My name is Keel. I started seeing her at the age of 7. She tell me stories whenever I get bored. She sounds for she. I can't sleep. She comfort me whenever I'm sad. It's really weird BC. She looks like me. I also have a dead sister. I can't even bother to ask my parents nor siblings BC. They won't answer me. My sister died when I was 8 months old. I don't know the reason. So I doubt that maybe my sister is my imaginary friend. In the age of 11, she started to act weird, like she's afraid of the world. She began to tell me something like, "Please, don't go outside." She kept repeating it. It was confused at the time. So I kept asking her why, but she just didn't want to answer me. She's always like that, so I always stayed in my room. She comes every time I stayed in my room. At the age of 12, she changed. Her left eyes was a different color. I don't remember the color of her eyes, and her hair started to change too. Her hair is white in half and brown in half. She's still afraid outside. I found it cool BC. She looks beautiful. I decided to ask her what happened to her. She just said, "Don't worry, I just changed." I'm not sure. I was really confused when I'm the age of 13. This is the moment I found out the truth. She really was my sister after all. I was so shocked. I told my parents about it, but they won't believe me. I calmed a bit and asked her why or the reason she died. At this part, I remember everything. She told me, "Listen, Keel, I'm not scared outside. I'm scared for your life." I got shocked by her answer. I was 7 years old when I died, July 28, 2014. While I was in my room, I heard noises outside. I still don't have a mind that, so I checked it out. I was already in the living room, and I saw boys standing behind the TV. It's Uncle Sim who killed me. The police investigated and found out that my uncle is the one. So when Uncle Sim comes out of jail, you were 10 when he got out. So I got scared he might do the same thing he did to me. And what happened to me? Don't mind that. Always remember, Keel, I'll always protect you. And never trust anyone except our family. I'm just fully shocked at that part. I tried telling my parents nor siblings. I just accepted her. In the age of 16, she's gone. And 1 year has passed without her. I really miss my sisters. Based on a true story, many of you won't believe my story, but it's real. Goodbye. I also have an imaginary friend right now. I had since I was 7 years D. Right now I am 10 years old. And he is acting like yours. Hope you're safe. I am touring 11 next week. I kinda relate to this. BCO had this imaginary friend called Anna. And she used to sing the same song. But after I turned 10, which I am now, she changed. She started making fun of my weight and stuff and would make me cry when she did some to me. After that, I ignored her. And she was very mad at me for ignoring her. But I think she left. I don't know. But I sometimes see her in the kitchen with a grin on her face. But yay, that's my story. My imaginary friend was just like this. But she actually able to get in my head and make me do things, and her name was Maya. And she was my best friend, but she started to make me do things I didn't want to do. And one day I was at work with my dad, and she made me push one of my dad's partners off the roof. And she did it because he was planning on killing my dad, and soon after my dad changed jobs. But we think we still see him to this day. And the imaginary friend would always hide in my closet. And she made me go in there because he was in our house and she saved my life. But started to act weird and once almost killed me. And she knew we spoke once, but her first word she ever said to me was bye. And I'm scared every night, because I think she would try to me kill myself again. I have an imaginary friend and her name is also Camille. I started to see her at 5 years old. She was like a sister. But when I turned 8, she changed and started to make me sadder a D. She used to play this song and repeated it every time she appeared. She played this song until today. I don't forget anymore, I won't tell. Imaginary friend. Well, my friend is much worser. Why? Because she was like a shadow, but a good though. Because you get along better. But then as much as I grow older, we go farther and farther away, and she started to fade away. Then when I was like 5 or 6, she faded away. And I never saw that shadow again. And I forgot that shadow, but as much as I grow older, I started to remember the shadow again. But I can't see my shadow friend anymore. Maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know.